not going to award the belt tonight. Doesn't feel appropriate to fool around with silly toys after a performance like that. I'm going to go all Craig Berube.
I'm still going to bring passion, James.
That's what I would like to see. We don't take any joy in a question like this in the season to be jolly, but we need to ask, which Leaf linchpin contributor is at the center of Toronto's mediocrity so far this season? Brad Treliving, Craig Berube, Austin Matthews, Willie Nylander, Morgan Rielly. Take your pick. I'm
going to go with Austin Matthews. You see in this league, the teams, the best player usually drives the bus. You're looking at Connor McDavid right now for the Edmonton Oilers. As soon as he decides that things are going to turn around, guess what he does? He goes on the ice and he leads by example. And Austin Matthews, I do not know what the reason is, but he's just not himself and it needs to get a lot better.
Well, for me, it's Brad Treliving. You look at the roster construction, obviously the Mitch Marner situation last year, and not having him replaced or being able to add the depth or the defensive depth that the Leafs need. The goalie situation with the injury is troubling as well. So I look at the general manager and putting it all together, and I said that is where it all starts.
Austin Matthews, I look at the captain. I mean, with the exit of Mitch Marner, they need more from everyone. That's now abundantly clear, especially the captain. He's capable of much more, but probably going to need some help from the GM.
You mentioned that leadership. Draisaitl gets his 1,000th point. McDavid goes and scores 12 seconds later, which brings us to this question. Edmonton and Pittsburgh meeting for the first time since the huge Skinner for Jarry deal last Friday. Marty gave Edmonton GM Stan Bowman an F on his report card right after the deal on SportsCenter. All three of you now get a chance to do that, or in Marty's case, you can regrade if you want, O-Dog.
I'm going with an F. I agree with mon ami. I just think the trade, it's such a lateral move, and you've got a guy that's brought you to the finals in 2 straight seasons, and I have never loved Jarry's playoff game. I don't like his game in totality. It's like he's got some warts in his game. He was in the minors a year and a half ago. I don't know why they felt the need to give Connor McDavid this guy for the next couple of years.
A C. I know for you in school that felt like an A, but you cannot give a failing grade this early into the transfer of Tristan Jarry to the Edmonton Oilers. They're a wild card team. They're not that far out of 3rd place in the Pacific Division. Change for the sake of change sometimes works, and I think it will here.
I am going to stick with mon ami and an F as well because, look, it's not just the results on the ice, the fact that Stuart Skinner is at 50 NHL playoffs game to Tristan Jarry's 8, and you look at no playoff series wins for Tristan Jarry, but it's the next 2 years at $5.5 million plus for Tristan Jarry. You were out of Stuart Skinner's contract, and you added 2 more years.
Would have been funny if you gave him an A. It would have ruined your credibility, but it would have been funny.
Better.
While we're on the subject of evaluating deals, the biggest winner of all in the Quinn Hughes trade, is it GM Billy Guerin? Is it Hughes' new partner, Brock Faber, superstar Kirill Kaprizov, or Quinnesota, the new state of hockey, Marty?
Bill Guerin, listen, he's had 10 hat-trick in his career. Well, actually 9 as a player and 1 as a GM. Why? Because the buyout of Zach Parise and Suter was a huge deal. The Kaprizov deal is a huge deal. And now this one, that is a hat-trick as a GM. He's been fantastic.
Brock Faber, I refuse to use the term Quinnesota just because the Quizmaster thinks it's really cool and it's really not. It's kind of clever. But Brock Faber, all he's got to do is just shovel 15-foot passes over to Quinn Hughes and say, away you go, and I've got things in control in our own zone. Like, what a luxury that is.
Did the Quizmaster make up the Quinnesota thing, or has it been out there?
I think he did.
Well, it just happened. He had to have made it up himself.
I'm going off the board with Jim Rutherford, one-time general manager for Jeff O'Neill, largely because of the excitement that came out of Jimmy after making that trade on Friday, because when he leaves the Vancouver Canucks, he wants a legacy. The pieces are there, and he was great to everybody, including Quinn, throughout this process.
A cross-sport question. If Phillip Rivers can play in the NFL at 44 after coaching high school football and not being in the game forever, we ask which of our 40-somethings would you like to see make a comeback most? Carlo Koliakovo, Marty Biron, Jeff O'Neill, or Cheryl Pounderdrakes?
Jeff O'Neill, because...
We all want to see
Yeah,
that.
we all want to see that.
Another mon ami.
I remember Curtis Joseph one time telling me when the one-piece stick first came into the National Hockey League, Jeff O'Neill went from a good shooter to a really good shooter. Somewhat unpredictable with that shot. Now with technology being what it is in 2025, I think the O-Dog could do damage.
Oh, with the Leafs power play struggling, I think you'd be great on it. But I'm going with Cheryl Pounder because I would love to see her on Team Canada right now after losing 4 games to Team USA in the rivalry series, gearing up for the Olympics. She would be hitting everybody and playing strong defensive hockey. So And
You
it's
play
not
for the
fair to
Leafs.
say we're all 40-something. We're much younger than that.
As much as I'd like to say Cheryl, I'm going to go with me, Jimmy. I think there's a limited role available, only 5-on-3s with bonuses. I'd like to play some 5-on-4, but anything even strength, anything starting in the defensive zone, I'm out.
I watched you
Bonus
snipe
heavy
about 8
structure.
goals in the TSN ball hockey tournament a couple of years ago. No, you didn't move. You didn't move within 3 seconds of the
That's his game.
3 inches of the red line, but you can still snipe it. That's a quiz.